22 Bad Parking Revenges. 22. Bad decision number 1. We've all been there at some point where someone has selfishly parked us in or taken up 2 spots when they only needed 1, and most of the time we leave it, but it does put us in a bad mood for the rest of the day. Well, the people on our list have had enough, including this man in Russia who was parked in. He smashed the window, released the handbrake, and then called someone who rocked up in a cement truck and proceeded to fill the car with cement. I don't think this driver will ever do that again. 21. Karma, the best medicine. Parking in the disabled spaces is unacceptable wherever you are, and this guy got what he deserved over in Brazil. He parked in a disabled bay and his car got covered in blue and white post-its showing the disabled parking bay symbol. Hundreds of people lined the streets to laugh at the guy, but he was much more angry than embarrassed. 20. Called out. This poster must have done the rounds in an apartment building where someone decided that they were far superior to the other residents, and due to their superiority, they were of course entitled to park over 2 bays. 19. Lesson learned. Carl DeMattia had just come back from an off-road trip, been stuck in traffic for 2 hours, and was looking forward to his dinner at a local Red Robin. On arrival, he found this Corvette parked across 2 bays right by the door. No trouble to Kyle. He ramped the curb because there's meant to be space for 2 cars, right? He took a video of the guy's reaction and he obviously wasn't impressed at all. 18. Sounds like fun. Well, this time it's done with a bit of humor, and of all the things this person could have done, I think this driver got off quite lightly. I don't know about you, but I would have liked to see them do this movie star move. 17. That'd be great! With around 1.2 billion cars on the road today, it's surprising you don't see more nasty or surprising little notes being left on vehicles every day. If I received a cute request like this, I would probably oblige, just because it's done so nicely. 16. Problem solved. What do you do when a smart car parks across 2 spaces? You give it a gentle nudge and problem solved. 15. Reserved. For people just like this, who obviously need the extra help, because it is rather challenging to get into those parking spaces specifically designed for a motor car. There are a number of these perfectly executed revenge park photos circulating the net. Makes me want to leave chalk in my car from now onwards. 14. All wrapped up. Have you ever had a piece of luggage shrink-wrapped like this when traveling? It's surprisingly tricky to cut open, so you can just imagine the hard time this driver had to free his vehicle from all of this plastic. 13. Say it with peanut butter. Less expensive than getting it towed for sure, but probably will take just as much time to get rid of all the peanut butter than it would go to collect your car from the towing company. This person will definitely be more careful next time. 12. Rules are there for a reason. If you've ever been tempted to park close to a fire hydrant, let this put you off for the rest of your life. No problem to the firefighters, they just shattered the windows to get the water pipe to go where it needed to go. 11. One man's trash is another man's trash now. Parking in front of council bins is really not a very bright idea. This guy is lucky his only punishment was a little rubbish dumped on his car, and not the contents of all 3 of those bins combined. 10. It's a wrap. You have to believe that whomever did this has finally just had enough. I can't imagine someone would go to such an extreme length from just being parked in once, but totally plausible if it's happened again and again. This person was waiting with many rolls of tinfoil to execute this so perfectly. 9. Not so subtle. This note is not nearly as subtle as some of our previous notes shown, and quite a slap in the face. It would appear that parking errors are almost unforgivable. Apparently around 20% of parking accidents occur in parking lots. Makes you wonder how many are caused by people parking so badly. 8. Got you surrounded. I'm not sure what this poor driver's transgression was, but whatever it was must have been severe to cause this awful situation. I truly would love to know how this was even made possible. How did they manage to link every trolley to form the circle? And how on earth is this chap going to get out? 7. Don't try this at home. This person has not just taken up 2 parking bays, which is bad enough, but they've been totally cheeky and hogged 4 parking spaces. I'm sure there are other words which will also aptly describe this inconsiderate driver. 6. Going nowhere slowly. That's what happens when you decide to purposefully break the rules. You get stuck just like this guy. He thought it would be a great idea to park in a spot very clearly demarcated for motorbikes. It's a shame it will be quite easy to move the bike, or worse, knock it over. 5. Passive-aggressive. Spider-Man to the rescue of all fellow motorists and ensuring that everyone abides by the universal laws of the road, like using one parking spot instead of two, and by using only one spot, being a huge help to all of humanity. Thanks, Spider-Man. 4. It's a celebration, but not the kind you were hoping for. Looks like these guys celebrated the disastrous effort this driver had at trying to park his car into one space. They obviously felt the driver needed all the encouragement he could get after failing so miserably. 3. It's a space issue. Have you ever parked in an empty lot only to come out again to find someone has parked right next to you and you can't understand why when there are hundreds of other open spaces? I feel sort of sorry for this driver who obviously didn't think it would be a problem, but I guess it offended several other motorists. 2. Hope you're not in a hurry, because you'll not be going anywhere soon. By the looks of things, when people do their driver's exam, they should have a completely separate course on driver etiquette, which needs to be passed before the actual driving can begin. 1. Bad driver on board. Instead of a baby on board sticker on this car, this driver needs a bad driver on board sign. Clearly a bit fed up, this motorist got a lesson he won't forget in a hurry.